Alright, so before I get into this video, just a quick disclaimer, I've never made any content like this before. I don't really make content period, I just record stuff when I want to, so this is gonna be not very structured, it's not gonna be edited or anything. This was just kind of recorded on a whim in one sitting. There's a lot of information, so it's gonna be a fairly long video, so maybe watch at 1.5 speed or 2 times speed if you can handle that. Pretty much I'm just going over a lot of the things that I struggled with personally when I first started, when I was a new player, and I'm still a fairly new player. I just started a couple days ago, but yeah, I hope some of the information here helps you, helps clarify some things about the game, and yeah, I hope you enjoy. Okay, so you've just started playing VOXLBLADE and you're looking up guides on YouTube, or maybe you've played for a while but you need clarification on some things, so hopefully this video will help you. I'm going to talk a bit about some of the things that I had difficulty understanding when I started, that I couldn't find resources on, so hopefully this video will be informative for you. First things first, there are a couple of resources that I'd recommend all players access. First and foremost is their Trello. Trello is a website where developers can put information about the game on, and the Trello has a ton of information. The link is right up here, but you can just Google it to find it. Pretty much has information on everything in the game. Most importantly, it has information on the trees for the blades and the handles, and if you're building fists, there's gloves as well. And then you can also search for more detailed information. So for example, let's say Holy Blade. You can just search Holy Blade and there's more information on it. And you can also find information on the buffs. Very useful, ton of information. Highly would recommend checking this out before you start putting sword points into your tree. Next up is their Discord server. Like a lot of Roblox games, they have a Discord server linked. You can just click here to join. The most important thing the Discord server has to offer is this dungeon invites channel. Once you're level 20, level 30, you're going to have access to the Lord Frog dungeon and the Queen Bee dungeon. Doing these daily, both of them will grant you 10 SP per day, and that is quite a lot of SP for late game. So doing these dungeons alone, pretty difficult, but this channel is always active, makes it very easy for you to get teammates. All you have to do is simply post in a private server link and what you're doing, and people will join. If you don't have a private server, you can just join someone else's. There's always people hosting stuff. Highly recommend joining the Discord server. Next, lastly, not as important, actually 2 more things, but not as important, is this site. There's actually a couple of sites that have information on the quests, but not really important. But if you're a completionist, or if you just want to get the rewards, this has information on all the quests. It is actually missing information on one quest. There's a quest in Flora that you have to kill drones, but this one doesn't have it. But as far as I'm aware, it has every other quest in the game listed. So yeah, useful if you're a completionist. And then, okay, another thing. When I play this game, I have my gamma settings pulled up, because when there's void events, or if you're in the dark cave, it's very hard to see. So turning up your gamma makes it a lot easier to see. So anyway, I'm just going to talk a little bit about some of the things that I had trouble with. Basics, you should know the basics. I'm going to assume you know the basics if you're watching this video. If you don't, there are other videos out there. Firstly, events. Okay, currently there are 4 events in the game. Arguably, the best one is the Void event, although some might say whale. The Void event is an event that has an increased chance of spawning Void enemies. And Void enemies are stronger, a lot tougher, but they drop Void items. Now, if you're early game, you're not going to really know what Void items do, but Void items are very valuable items that are expensive, matter a lot for the late game. Probably most important is the corrupted items themselves, corrupted gear, and binding corruptions, which I will talk a little bit about later. when I talk about enchants. It's also increased chance of Iron Slayers. Iron Slayers are a big knight-looking creature that also have really good drops. They are very strong, but if you know the attack patterns, should be relatively simple to take down. Speaking of attack patterns are very important to playing this game efficiently, or if you just simply don't want to die. All enemies have fixed, relatively simple attack patterns. Once you learn them, it makes it a lot easier to play the game. If you don't know them, even if you're full build, you can still die really easily. So does require some degree of knowledge on attack patterns if you want to play the game and not die. So upon rewatching what I recorded, I just realized that there was a bit more information I wanted to provide on the Void event, specifically the Void items themselves. A lot of you might be wondering, what is the point of corrupted items that drop? Why do they have no stats? So corrupted items are effectively items that you gamble with. At the church, you can buy an item called a cleansing tear. I'm too lazy to run over, but it's very easy to see. It costs 500, and what the cleansing tear does is it cleanses all corrupted gear you're wearing. So to get maximum value out of it, you should be wearing a full set, 3 pieces, ideally 5 pieces, but it's pretty rare to get corrupted drops for runes and rings. But I actually have enough for a full corrupted set right now, so I'll just go ahead and show you the point of corrupted items. So what I mean by gambling is that when you purify a corrupted item with a cleansing tear, like so, it gives you random enchants on it. Now, chances are you'll just get individual enchants. Like in this case, you see, okay, Burning, Summoners, and Fragile. Rarely will you get 2 enchants on one piece. If you're super lucky, 3. I'm not sure if it's possible to get 4, but if it is, it would be very difficult, since I assume that the chances of getting another enchant goes up exponentially. So, as you can see, you're basically gambling for an enchant that you want. You're most likely not going to get one that you want, but even if you don't, you can get items for trade. Later on in the video, I'll explain more about enchants. But yeah, in this case, I got Burning, which gives fire boost. This one, Summoners, gives summon boost, and this one's bad because it is fragile and makes you lose physical defense. But when you purify a corrupted item, it'll return it to its original state, so it gets all the stats that it originally have. For example, if I look up Bunny Pants, you'll see that it has the exact same stats besides this stat. So it'll return it back to its original state and then add an enchant to it. So that's why corrupted items are so good. Anyway, next event, the whale event. A lot of people don't know what this event is. You'll see a message in chat that says the sky whale is approaching or something like that. So there's a spawn village. I'm just going to show you how to get to it. The whale event is located in Cloudlands. So there's the spawn village. Just cross the river. If I go over here, there's a couple of launch pads that take you to the Cloudlands. So if you just follow the path I'm going right now, you will arrive at where the whale comes. I'm going to speed this up so you don't have to sit through this, but just follow the path I'm taking. And here we are. So I'm not sure if that's the most efficient path. You can try to find a better path, but that's the path I use. So basically a whale will come here, and when it arrives, once the event is announced, there's about a minute or so, over a minute maybe, I'm not exactly sure, before the whale actually comes. Once the whale docks here, there'll be a message in chat that says the sky whale has arrived. Now, on top of the sky whale, there's gonna be a little yellow waiting bar. So there's a timer, a 2-minute timer that will start as soon as someone enters the waiting bar. If all players leave, the timer stops. So basically, the whale will not take off unless at least one player stands in there for 2 minutes. Now, when it takes off, it takes you to a boss fight. The way you kill the boss is by firing cannons. I'm sure you guys can figure it out yourself. Good luck with that. Next event, Harvest. So Harvest is, as you can tell by the name, an event for harvesting. Increased drop rate, increased EXP, pretty self-explanatory. Nice event for farming cacti in the desert, because you get a lot more prickly pears, and prickly pears are great for increasing your crafting level and spawning the Cacti King. If you don't know what the Cacti King is, it's a boss that you can spawn in the desert by sacrificing pears. 100 pears spawns one Cacti King, and yeah, there's a torch in the corner of the desert, which I will not go to right now because I'm lazy, but I'm sure you can find it. It's not difficult. Last event, arguably the worst one. People actually don't really like this event, but I think it's underrated. The Blood Moon event. Spawns Blood Moon enemies. You can tell because they have a red aura around them and their name is red. And also, same goes for Void enemies. You can tell it's Void because it has this purple aura and the name's a different color. Magical enemies will have a little blue aura, their names are blue, and legendary enemies will have a yellow aura and their names will be yellow. But anyway, Void enemies, Blood Moon enemies have an increased chance of dropping enchanted gear. Some of the enchanted gear will be worthless or fragile or thirsty, all enchants that are pretty useless unless you're running prisoner set, but for most people that will be irrelevant. But apart from the enchants that you don't want to get, you can get quite a lot of useful enchants, such as dexterous, vampiric, enlightened, etc. I'll talk a little bit more about enchants in a moment. So that's a basic summary of events. Now, okay, let's talk a little bit about enchanting and infusing. Now, obviously, to increase your power level, there's upgrading your weapon and stuff, which I'll talk a little bit about your weapon, but in my mind, it's pretty self-explanatory. When I first started, I struggled the most with enchanting and infusing, although once you understand them, they're really not that complicated. So what infusing is effectively allowing you to obtain the stats of a second piece of armor. So right now, it's like I'm wearing 2 sets of armor. If you notice that my gear here doesn't have any. Actually, it has some dex boost, but dexterity, there's a boost here, 25. None of these stats have dex boosts, or this one. Yet my dex boost is 78, right? So those extra stats come from the set that I've infused. In this case, I have the prisoner set infused, which was nerfed recently. But yeah, so infusion. How do you infuse? There are 3 infusers located around the map. I'm not going to go to them. You can find them. There are resources out there. But one of them, you drop down from a ledge at Tundra. Another one is in the Deadlands, which is you go to the desert to get to the Deadlands. And then the last one is in the Tundra. You have to go past where you get the prisoner set, continue going up. But yeah, so what you do at those infusers is you need a binding. What's it called? Binding something. Hold on. Binding orb. I forgot the name. A binding orb. So what you need is, obviously the piece of gear you're going to infuse and then a binding orb. Infused gear cannot be enchanted, and has to be unupgraded. So it has to be level 0, has to be a piece of gear like this basically, right? It can't be enchanted, can't be upgraded or anything. It has to be a basic piece of gear. Now, when you infuse that piece of gear with a binding orb, it stays in the infuser until you replace it with another armor item. But, you know, ideally, you're never going to replace it, because that's just what you're going to keep infused. Infusion will take away half of the stats, half of the base stats, but the reason, and give them to you, you'll get half of the base stats, but the reason for infusion is you're not doing it really for the base stats, you're doing it for the unique stats. And unique stats are going to be these 0.1 stats that grant a unique ability that's different from a simple stat increase. And if you don't know what different abilities do, the easiest way is you click this plus button and it shows you all your stats, and if you simply mouse over them, you can see what each of them do. Now, infusing will let you get different unique abilities without having to wear the armor piece. So very, very necessary for late game. Extremely big stat increase. It's a big power spike when you infuse your items. So next up, enchants. When I started, I started this game a few days ago, and there was so much confusion around enchants for me. I asked a lot of people, got a lot of different responses, watched a lot of videos. Took me a while to really understand. So enchants are basically different colored gear, right? If there's like a little different colored ring around it, it means it's enchanted. Now, trying to find a clear example for you that I can. Okay, so you see this dire bunny cloak, right? It's just simple dire bunny cloak. It's unenchanted. Now, if it was enchanted, it would have another adjective in front of it. In this case, legendary, or you know, hardened. That's what an enchant is. There's a bunch of different types of enchants. All of them grant different stat boosts, except 2 special enchants. You see Dexterous Cacti Cloak. It effectively gives you a bonus stat on top of all the normal stats. So let me find that Wolf Cloak again. Where is it at? Here. So you see the stats on here, and then if I look at the hardened version, it gives you protection and rabbit's foot. Although, okay, I'm pretty sure the rabbit's foot is coming from the fact that it's pants. The only stat that hardened enchant should grant you is protection. But yeah, so different enchants will grant you an extra stat. Some of them are actually bad. Fragile gives you negative protection, I believe, or negative physical defense. I don't quite remember which. And there's a couple other bad ones, but anyway, there's 2 special enchants. Refined, which I don't have a piece of refined gear with me, but refined and legendary. So legendary and refined gear do not add any extra stats. Instead, they increase all the base stats that you have. So legendary will increase all the stats by 50%, while refined increases all the stats by 20%. Now, so what you want is, let's say you're going a dex build, right? Where your weapon scales off of dexterity. So you're gonna obviously want as much dexterity as you can get. So obviously you would want the dexterous enchant on your gear. Now, how do you get that? Enemies can drop enchanted gear. Magical enemies have an increased chance of dropping enchanted gear, and during the Blood Moon event as well. But it's gonna be very unlikely for you to get a piece of gear that is on the set you want to use that is enchanted with the exact enchant that you want. there's also a chance that you can get 2 enchants, and if you're super lucky, 3 enchants, but it's very uncommon. But realistically, you're not gonna have any armor pieces that have, you know, the exact 2 enchants that you want, or the exact 1 enchant that you want on the armor set you want, if that makes any sense. Now, there's actually a Blood Moon event happening right now, but I'm not gonna partake since I wanna finish explaining things. So, where was I? Right, enchants. So, okay, since it's unrealistic to get the enchant that you want on the armor set you want, on the exact armor piece you want, how do you get the enchants that you want? Well, there is this thing called enchanting, and I will go over to Magus to show you where the enchanting room is, and I will speed this up for you so you don't have to watch through it. Okay, I actually went the wrong way. I went all the way around here instead of just going directly to it. But anyway, you get the idea. It's in Magus. If you don't know where Magus is, look up a map online or watch another video that explains the map. Magus is directly connected to plains and desert, I believe. I think there's also a forest entrance. But anyway, so you can enchant items here. So how do you enchant stuff? To enchant a piece of gear, it has to be A, unenchanted, and B, maxed out. So I can't enchant these items because they're already enchanted. But this piece, I could enchant if I maxed it out. So if this was upgraded 5 times, it would be maxed out, and then I'd be able to enchant it. And what you enchant it with is an unupgraded piece. I don't know if it has to be unupgraded, but there's no reason for you to upgrade it because literally all you're getting from the enchant is, from the enchanted piece of gear is the enchant itself. So you're not going to be getting any of these stats. So if I enchanted this with this, it would just turn this into a legendary bunny ring, which would in turn increase speed boost and jump boost by 50%. It wouldn't increase Rapid's Foot because it's a unique skill. So yeah, that's enchanting, summed up. Manual enchanting, so it's just you upgrade, you fully upgrade your unenchanted piece of gear, then you can slap an enchant on it. It doesn't matter what the piece of enchanted gear is, as far as I'm aware, correct me if I'm wrong. But so like for this ring, I could enchant it with this if I wanted. I could enchant it with like any of this. Since I am going speed, I believe legendary wouldn't be worth it in this case. I'd probably just enchant it with dexterous, and actually I'm not sure if legendary would be better or not, but I'll probably enchant it with one of dexterous or legendary to increase the speed, since this is just a fun little speed set I'm making to get around. But yeah, I hope that explains enchanting for you. It's pretty simple once you understand it, but took a while for me to get it, and quite a lot of wasted money because I thought you could enchant already enchanted gear, and I maxed out an enchanted piece and found out that, oh, I can't enchant it. So, okay, what else should I cover? Okay, let's talk a little bit about the weapons tree. I probably should have just covered this in the beginning, but I'm going to assume that you have some degree of knowledge on the weapon tree. You should be referencing the trello when you're thinking about what to build. So, apart from fists, which you acquire by joining the monk guild, also guilds, You can find information on guilds here, I'm not going to go into them, but basically the guild you join revolves around what you're building. So, yeah, you can look at handles here, blades here. For every blade there's a corresponding handle. In general, you're going to have a matching handle and blade, but not always. But if you have some really like crazy, like unbalanced stuff, the sword can literally become unbalanced and it will slow down your attack speed. And I'm not sure if there's any other debuffs, but yeah. So this is going to be the standard blade tree that everyone has access to, which honestly most of these are not very good, but you know, effectiveness does not matter as much as having fun, in my opinion. So, you know, try out different builds. There's multiple slots for a reason. If you, these are called elemental blades, and these are obtained through special quests. So, the holy blade you acquire by there's a quest in the church that's really easy to do. All of these are all done by relatively easy quests to acquire, and these, in general, are stronger than these, although they shouldn't be. It should be relatively equal, in my opinion. But yeah, so if you decide from the beginning that you want to go an elemental blade, then don't waste any of your sword points upgrading your your basic blade here. Just wait until you can get your level 10 quest reward and acquire the blade, and then spend your sword points SP on that. By the way, easiest ways to obtain SP, one is leveling up. I believe you get 5 SP per level, but later on in the game, when it's more difficult to be level up, the best way is by doing your daily dungeons. If you do each one, you get 10 SP per day, which is pretty big if you actually play consistently. You can also get 1 SP per boss kill, I believe. So frog, cacti, bee, I believe each of those give you 1 SP every time you take it down. But yeah, so you upgrade your blades, your handles at sword shrines. If you don't already have recall unlocked, this is an ability that is effectively fast traveling. It's on a 10-minute cooldown. It lets you teleport to a shrine that you have unlocked. There are currently 6 shrines in the game, and you unlock recall after beating the second void, I believe, and the second void should be the one in Vinelands, or the swamp people call it. But yeah, just channels for a few seconds, very useful ability. I'm not gonna lie, grinding is actually pretty miserable before you get this ability, because usually you're not moving as fast as I am. My speed stat is considerably higher than the average player, but yeah, until you have unlocked recall, it is pretty painstakingly slow to go from place to place in the map. When you're exploring different areas, I'd highly recommend searching for the inn first so you can set your spawn, because you're probably going to die. Speaking of dying, when you die you lose 10% of your cash and 10% of your EXP. So if you're just starting out, that's not really relevant, because your EXP is going to be low anyway. It's not going to take a lot of EXP to level up, and you're probably not going to have a lot of cash. So at that point in the game, it's worth resetting to get back to the inn, or if you simply need more HP. Later on in the game, not worth it. You're not going to want to die. I don't have much cash right now because I'm poor, but I still have a fair amount of XP, so if I died right now, I'd lose over 200, about 230 EXP, which is not the most, but you know, I don't want to die and lose that if I can at all help it. Also, this guy charges 20 to heal, but there are some scammers out there that charge 50 and 60 to heal, which is insane. I think Magus charges like 60, I don't know. It's just, I don't know, inflation, I guess. But anyway, oh right, yeah, I was gonna go to the sword shrine and take a look at handles and blades. I forgot. Give me one sec. Okay, so here we are. This is the first sword shrine. All of you should know where this is, unless you literally just opened up the game. But yeah, so this is where you upgrade your handles and blades. I apologize, I really should have just gone over this in the beginning, but I talked about other things instead, and I'm too lazy to edit this and put it in the beginning, so yeah. So you can have all your handles here. The way it works is you're gonna start with all of these locked. You're just gonna have the 2 basic ones, and everyone has to upgrade these. Unless you're going for an elemental blade, then you know, save your SP until you've unlocked that blade. Although, actually, I'm pretty sure for elemental blades you're gonna have to upgrade these anyway. But anyway, past tier 1, you'll unlock more handles, and then if you want to upgrade a specific one, you click on it, you click upgrade, and you'll unlock more stuff related to that tree. So you see, when you upgrade the basic handle, you unlock 4 blades. Now, in this case, I'm using the duelist's needle, which is, by the way, not that good in my opinion, but doesn't matter. So I upgraded the, what is it? The dagger blade here, which unlocked. These are all elemental blades that unlocked. It unlocked dagger blade, unlocked sharp dagger blade, and agile blade for me, which you can see here. And then, of course, to get the duelist needle, I upgraded the agile blade, which unlocked the duelist needle and the crude blade. And this is another drop that you can get from bosses. There's handles and drops and special gear you can get from bosses. Also, there are some the tier 5 blades do exist in the game, even though here there's only 4 tiers. They're very special. Late game items are generally going to come from astral presence and brilliant presence. You've probably heard players talking about them before, but they're presents that have really good items in them. And we can just go on here, search astral. You can see the drops that it has. Brilliant present, you can see here. One big item that people go after is the blaster ring, which is here, that allows you to get guns. Everyone likes guns because they're cool and it's pretty decent damage. If you want dual guns, you need to go fists, but otherwise you can just have one gun and a blade if you want. But yeah, let me think for a moment to see if there's anything else I wanted to cover. Okay, yeah, I actually wanted to talk a little bit about damage scalings that I forgot about, so I'm going back to the shrine to explain to you what I mean. Okay, so what is damage scaling? So damage scaling is, well, it is exactly what it sounds like. It's your weapon is gonna scale off of specific stats. Now in my case, let's look at the duelist's needle, and the handle I'm using right now is the bestial handle. But anyway, so on the right here, once you've selected your stuff, by the way, these are weapon arts, different handles and blades will grant you different weapon arts, but they're pretty self-explanatory. You can try them out, see which one fits your playstyle or does the most damage. But yeah, so if you look on the right side, you'll see damage scalings. This is extremely important because depending on what weapon you build, that's gonna be what armor you build. Because if I have if my damage scales off of dexterity, and this one as well, dexterity and physical, then I'm gonna want to build dexterity, because what this means is that the more dexterity I have, the more damage I have. So that's gonna be what you send to your build around. Now this, I have a higher dexterity scaling than physical scaling here, which means obviously dexterity is more valuable, over 2 times more valuable in this case than physical, so I want to heavily prioritize dexterity in this build. But yeah, you probably won't find the exact build that you want off your first slot. It's probably going to take you a little bit of experimenting to find something you like. Might take multiple slots. They are planning to release an update. The developers announced it in the Discord. They're planning to release an update in the future that allows you to reset your SP. It's probably going to cost something expensive because, you know, SP you shouldn't allow players to just reset their SP as they please. That being said, they are going to give everyone a free reset, most likely. So, you know, if you went a build that you regret, that'll be a chance to switch it up. Unfortunately, if you joined a guild, guilds are permanent. You can't leave them. But, you know, at the very least, if you wasted SP, if you built something that you regret building, hopefully the next update, you'll be able to reset, you'll be able to get all your SP back and do a new build. But yeah, I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. A lot of the things in this game seem intimidating, but they're not. Once you understand them, they're all pretty simple. You can find a lot of information on the Trello, as well as on the Discord. So yeah, I hope this video helped you. Hope it was informative. Hope it helped you hope it helped you with some of the things that I struggled with when I first started. Granted, I still am very new to the game, but yeah, I hope this clears some things up for some of you. And yeah, have a good day or night.